Okay, we're live. Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
I have the lead developer of One Lonely Outpost here and lead developer of Circadian City. I believe your name is Brad.
Yes,
I
I am Brad.
Okay. And your username is Dreadicon, but you don't. Do you go by that anywhere, or is it just?
I go by either.
Okay.
I tend to use my name on the project just to try and sound like official or something, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But no, either one works for me.
Okay. Cool. Okay, I have the screen up. I'm kind of thinking I should keep my webcam off because those people can think that I'm playing the game. So I think I'll go no webcam today. I suppose when I play your game, I will. Yeah, so he's just gonna start up the game here. Get the music going.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Basically just started.
Yeah, I just made the character. That's nice. I like the character. Hey Samif, what's up? All right, so we're gonna be playing. It's gonna be a 2-hour stream, and we're gonna be Brad here is gonna be playing Circadian City for the first half, and then I will be playing One Lonely Outpost for the second half. I spent a little bit of time in it to just get used to the controls, and then I stopped because I was like, oh geez, I could just sit here and just farm all day, and I'm like, I'll save it for the stream. But yeah, I think One Lonely Outpost is gonna be it's right up what I normally do. So for me, it's
Awesome.
like another day at the office. I'm all over it. We'll see. Min-max it.
Speaking of one day at the office, I was playing Circadian City a little bit earlier, and looks like that's the name of the game. It's one day at the office,
Yeah.
yeah.
or rather 1 hour at the office,
Yeah.
whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
Compared to your game, I guess we're more, everyday sim.
Yeah, this one definitely is way more on the life sim side,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
let's see. I think
And then One Lonely Outpost more on the the farming sim style.
Yeah,
looks
farming
like.
sim.
Or
with
and the crafting. I'm
a
curious.
nice
I haven't.
twist.
Sorry, bro.
A farming sim with a twist, I would say.
With a twist. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. A farming sim plus some.
All right.
Got to make myself some. That's some omelet there with butter and eggs.
Mm. I use butter when I make an omelet. Yeah.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I just usually use like cheese or something.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't used to though. I just scramble some eggs, be like it's an omelet. Throw some milk in there. But then I started using butter, and I was like, oh, this is good. Let's see.
Toshu, when we first met with Brad,
Yeah.
it was in 2018, and
Oh, wow.
we were neighbors in GDC Game Developers Conference.
Oh, okay.
No, it was 2019.
Yeah,
2019. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
19. Yeah, okay, you're right.
Cool. So actually, that kind of asks the question. Or I wonder if I should save the questions for One Lonely Outpost until later. I also asked that anyway. But when did you start development on One Lonely Outpost?
Gosh, it was about 2.5 years ago.
Okay. I want to
let's
say
see.
that Circadian was about the same, but I mean, I'm Brock 2 years ago, or
Yeah, it's been 2 years now. Yeah, when we first met Brett, I think it was like our first 6 months or so that we started the project. Now, yeah, it's been 2 years almost.
Okay. A lot more has come then since last I saw the game.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah, one thing I definitely like is the colors.
Mm.
It's very very interesting coloring. That gives a neat effect and nice contrast between the vibrancy of the dream and the grays and the browns of the daytime.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. It is. Yeah, it's a bit gritty, and not as bright and colorful when you're in the real world, which is nice.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
up, Sutushi, in the Steam chat? If you have any questions, we got two great game developers here. You can ask, questions about either game or just about game development in general too.
Yep. I am happy to answer a little bit about me real quick.
Yeah.
And my background. My day job actually is developing games as well. They're just maybe not the kind of games you would expect. I actually make things that I like to call totally not slot machines.
Oh, I actually know. Yeah, I know someone else who does the same thing. For like mobile or.
So ours are actually, they go in a location, they look like slot machines, they play a lot like slot machines, but they're not
Actually.
technically slot machines because they have finite math instead of open math. Slot machines,
Interesting.
they basically roll every time like a rolling a dice.
Sure.
Ours are closed box, so like there's a box of results and you're pulling one out each time,
Right,
and there's
okay.
a fixed number of winners and a fixed number of losers in the box.
Got you. Okay.
So that's
So, I mean, is that fun to play it? I guess I missed the point there.
my point is that's what I do in my day job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you know the results, what's the interesting part? That
Or
you're playing without
You still
knowing
don't
the
know.
result.
You still don't know your results because it's pulling from the box of results at random. But you can know where like if you have 500 polls, you know exactly how many winners and losers you get.
Oh, I
500 polls.
understand. So,
Yeah.
so it's just a technical difference, but in reality,
Yeah, it is,
you
yeah.
just have the same experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's for the most part it's the same experience. The difference I would say is that with electronic pull tabs, which is what I do, the gambler fallacy is not actually a fallacy. So the gambler fallacy says, "Oh, I've lost so much. If I just keep playing, I'm bound to win." Well, with a classic slot machine, that's actually not the case.
Oh, I see.
It's open random every time. With ours, though, if you've played like 300 tabs, you are more likely to win if you keep playing.
I see. Right.
So
If you get a bad luck streak, then that actually does mean that. That's interesting. When you have a closed, yeah, because you're always taught we're always being taught like percentages with randomization. People always would think that if they fail a bunch, if they get a bunch of bad rolls, then they're gonna get lucky soon. It's like that's not how it works. The percentages don't change.
Yeah.
But the percentages do actually change. That is true. That is interesting. And also from a selling standpoint, if you're selling it to a bar company or whatever, then they know exactly the amount of money they're gonna get out of it for amount of polls, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That is definitely the case. All that said, I've been in charge of 6 games on that, and been involved with about 12 or 15. I'd have to go back and count. So quite a few. They're pretty small compared to games like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of my background, and just what my previous experience is. So I have like 6 years experience developing video games, just not the kind of video games that I'd really like to make.
Yeah. Right.
I'd
right.
rather be making games like One Lonely Outpost or this. This is pretty cool actually. I'll admit that when I first saw it, I was perhaps a little skeptical with the kind of quirky art style and whatnot. But like once I got my hands on it, it's actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to go really interesting places with the whole dichotomy of the daytime and the dream world, as well as kind of delving into psychology and
Yeah.
our dreams and motivations and all of that kind of stuff in some really interesting ways.
Yeah, it's really
how-
setting itself up with there's a lot of really good thought out ideas, and it synergizes well. Like, how you can have a dream world where, you can you can go down a talent tree, but it's actually your personality, and then it affects the real world. It synergizes. It makes sense. And I think a lot of people, I didn't think this would be something I would like as much as I did, and I think same with a lot of the streamers that have played it so far, but they all really like this kind of disjointed 2 game kind of thing going on,
You should meet Stan and Lee. I like that.
But
Yeah, you
I don't
didn't
know.
miss the reference.
Something about
Oh.
you're in the dream world, and then all of a sudden you get kicked out into the real world, and now you have to change gears, and then you're kind of switching back and forth. I don't know. It's a unique thing that you don't get a lot with most gameplay.
Having had kids, I do sympathize with Han a little bit, but he still seems a little bit gloomy.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think this guy was my favorite, but I guess that should be obvious. Well, with the matching beards. Let's see. What did I want to do next? Right. This was about as far as I got. So,
Okay.
now I need to figure out where the heck I want to go. And it's a little bit different playing it now that I've got the resolution correct. Because now I can't see the entire level on my screen.
Oh, I see. You can actually run, by the way, by pressing R1, I guess.
Aha!
Love this guy.
I would say it's a good time to explore the city or start working on your interests, and probably you will realize that you will need to make a lot more money if you want to build some interest. But first, you should probably learn how you're going to work on your interest. Do you remember the interest you picked in the beginning of the game?
Yep. It was games and science.
Games and science. Okay. So for science, you can find some books in Gateville, and you can, I guess, you can get some class in Jewel Street. And for games, you need to buy a TV and a game console, and then start buying some games. So it requires much more money to start with.
And the reason you build your interest is so if you have level 1 or higher in an interest, then you'll build friendships much faster with people who share those interests. So your main goal in the real world would be to gain friends, because the quests help you progress in the game.
Right. Studying to be a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. Their quests, I think, are the funniest, by the way.
That's interesting. Lots of empty bookshelves.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
that was
recently played them
Brock
2
dropped
days
the
ago.
ball on that. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was his. It'll be in the next build, I assume. It's probably already in the
Yeah,
the
it's
bill.
already.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
There is a bookstore to the south that you can access.
Game, movies, and comics. They said I should go and talk to Stan and Lee.
Yeah,
Those are
so that's
games.
normally where you normally get those, but you don't have any money for the TV, game console, and all that. But
Yeah.
you can actually go upstairs as well, which is
All right.
yeah, that's where all the
Magazines. Books. Lying to masses.
So the tricky thing is you do have to kind of guess about what the interests are. I mean, you can guess line of masses is conspiracy, but science, I'm not sure if there is one there for science. But they do refresh every day, so you get 4 new books every day. In fact, all of the merchants like refresh every day, so you'll notice like also the convenience store where you get ingredients refreshes every day as well.
Cool. I like the dynamic sound.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
it's going well with music and sound. Did you start working on sound and music, Brad, in One Lonely Outpost yet?
yeah, it has sound. The sound is like the rest of the game is really not like super well off. Let's see, I got food here. Yeah.
So the thing is about for making more money, you actually start with a very low amount of income in your work. You make like $5 an hour. But if you have high motivation, higher than 60, then you make a higher amount. And if you have more than 80 motivation, then you make even more. And you raise your motivation by working on things you like games and science, or by eating sweets.
So the motivation meter is the gold ladder in the bottom right.
Okay. Let's see, does running use more stamina? I feel like it uses more stamina.
No.
Getting
You can't
low
really
on
use it.
stamina, it looks like. I'm guessing you don't pass out like Stardew Valley or my game, but
No. Do you pass out in One Lonely Outpost?
yeah. If you run out of energy, the lore behind it is supposed to be, and we're still kind of tooling with this, that you. By the way, how many hours do I even need to sleep?
It depends how much energy you want to regain. Like if you only sleep 2 hours, you'll only get 2 hours worth of energy back.
Well, yeah, but how much is 2 hours? I've got a bar down there.
If you want to fill it all the way, you'd have to sleep like 10, 12 hours, I think. Like 10, maybe 10 hours. Yeah. So if you do that, it'll be close to full, I believe. I'm not actually sure exactly how much. You have to to see.
Now I'm in the dream world. So he wants me to collect these guys. Twigs. All right. Got twigs.
How many hours you played Stardew Valley?
How much have I played Stardew?
Yeah.
Gosh, I want to say about 200 hours or so. It's definitely not my most played game, but I have played it a lot.
What's the first like farming sim type game that you played?
I played a Harvest Moon years ago. Believe it was for the GameCube. I keep forgetting which one it was.
A Wonderful Life.
A Wonderful Life, yeah. I think that's it. And it was my first reaction to it was the same as pretty much everyone, which was all the other gamer friends I know of, which is, why on earth would I want to play something like that? But then you start playing it, and it's very relaxing and enjoyable.
Yeah, the gameplay loop really like sucks you in, and you get in a rhythm, and you just, yeah.
So, and then I kind of went off and played a whole bunch of other games, and then Stardew Valley came out, and I saw it, and I saw a bunch of people were playing it. I was like, you know what? I really enjoyed that. Looking back on it, I'd like to play something like that again, and so I picked it up, and yeah, just like the Harvest Moon before, it was lots of fun, and I just played it until I got my farm nice and big. I've got like the whole ancient fruit set up now and all that. That's what. Let's see. I actually have plans for a hard mode, or a challenge mode, more like it, for One Lonely Outpost, where the recipes, the prices, and the sorry, playing a game and talking.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're doing great.
I know it's different. Difficult. Sorry, I didn't want to do it. So Toshi is going to play One Lonely Outpost when
he's animation canceling the hoe. You see that?
Yeah. He's a natural.
Turbo speed. Unity animations. They're fun.
This is I believe is a custom animation engine they made in Unity for this.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that trailer, I had to actually do all of that in Unity. For the Kickstarter, if you've seen it.
Oh, I haven't seen it. You know what? Maybe we should watch it before we start playing it. Before I start playing it, would that be a good idea?
I'm already a backer.
I'm not a backer yet. I will be though. Like not because of we're doing a stream here, but because I this is my side job. My full-time job is to stream video games, and like I'm just a Twitch streamer, and what I play is like farming sim games. So this is it's right up my alley. But I haven't seen the Kickstarter yet.
Yeah. No, I spent 200 hours over the 2 weeks before we launched, making the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, me and the artists really jammed it and got it out there, and I actually had like mild anxiety for like an anxiety reaction to thinking about working on the game for 2 days after I launched because of all the like 20-hour days I did.
Yeah.
So never had burnout like that before.
Right.
I see.
But yeah, it's all good now. I'm better, and at least now I know my limits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you still working with the same team, or did
Mostly.
anything change?
Mostly, the guy Anthony you probably met at GDC, kind of is no longer really working much on the project. He's kind of focused more on his studies now.
I see.
Laura, you met her there, is still the writer. Yeah, same lead artist. The team kind of firmed up for the core people about 2 years ago, 6 months in. Aha, they're growing. I like how the time seems to be very subjective here, just like in Real Dreams.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on it. I mean, a lot more than expected, actually. Because it starts getting more complicated when you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
How much time you need in the dream world? How much time you would get from? I mean, how much concentration you would get from your sleeping bar, and what happens when you receive some damage to that concentration, or what happens when you want to wake up earlier? And I think we tried like maybe 6 or 7 different scenarios, and we ended up with this one.
Why? I never noticed the like light piano music notes kind of hit at some points here, unless I'm crazy and I'm hearing it somewhere else on my computer. But I'm hearing new parts of music I didn't hear before.
Yeah.
I don't know why now after all these hours.
Well, when you're watching, you're more observing things,
Yeah.
instead of experiencing them. When you and that's kind of the interesting dichotomy of game development and you know, versus playing games, as well as watching someone play games versus actually playing them yourself. It's a slightly different experience because when you're playing the game, you're experiencing it, you're engaged with it, and certain details actually aren't obvious. They just meld into the whole experience. Whereas when you're watching it, you're observing it, and you're more likely to notice certain details that you don't notice when you're playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably the details about the art style, details about the music.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing, you're more focused on the gameplay,
Yeah.
but when you're watching,
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, like a super obvious example is if you're like fighting a monster or something, you're just trying to not die, and the people watching are just looking at, oh wow, look at the teeth on that monster and the, you know, something like that. But I'm like, I'm trying to avoid getting killed here.
Yeah. Let's see.
Jabberwocky, Sleepwalking DLC where 2 worlds cross over. Oh, Sam says, will there be Nightmare DLC? I still think, even though I don't think it's kind of the direction that Circadian wants to go, it would be pretty cool or crazy if you passed out, because energy in the real world, you run out of energy and you pass out and you kind of end up in a little more nightmarish dream world.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting as well. I mean, maybe not some monsters type of thing, but
Right, it doesn't have to be
maybe
monsters, but yeah.
maybe we can work on some light nightmare stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think from
yeah.
also from a little bit of a wow factor in a trailer or something, it'd be kind of cool too. You know, people like, whoa, you can have a night. You know, you pass out and you have a nightmare, kind of thing.
I think that I feel like the more maybe appropriate thing, just from the vibes I've gotten from the game so far, would be something to the effect of overworking yourself or neglecting life during the day would be more appropriate to trigger something like that.
That's
Because
true.
it's kind of about the relationship, the psychological relationship between your day life and your dreams, and spending too much time in either one is going to hurt the other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the whole balance the game is trying to stay upon, I guess. Your work-life balance, and you know.
So the thing that the metric you're describing is just a stress meter then. So if you're stressed, then maybe. But right now, if you're stressed, then it's supposed to be that you don't stay in the dream world as long. I believe. Is that right? I think that's right. I could be wrong on that. Brock would know. But
Is this a question mark church?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, and I really like the guy working there. Like,
I'll go talk to him.
yeah, the father. When you start becoming friends with him, he is a questioning guy.
Yeah, that's fun.
oh, I didn't even realize the cane is kind of a question mark too.
Yep. No, I like those details. I like the rain. Do you intend to make it like fixed so that when the camera moves, the rain doesn't move so much? Or I see that it kind of, but it's not quite synced with the camera motion. We have had like tons of issues with that with shaders and whatnot. So with like our water shader.
I think it's screen space effect, but I'm not really sure. I didn't pay attention to that. Now we had some unfortunate issue about our. I mean, we had a junior graphics programmer. He was working with all this stuff, water shaders, rain, and outlines on objects in the game and other that needs any shader in the game. But he had to stop working on the project like you had with your friends I met in PC. Yeah, same actually. He had to go back to his studies.
Yeah. Fortunately, in his place, I've gotten 2 new artists who have been excellent. One is doing like the characters, the creatures, all of those kind of things, living things. And then one of the more junior artists who's been with the project for 2 years now, actually has really kind of come into his own. And he can basically do work on par with the senior artist. It just takes him longer.
That sounds cool. I mean, you're lucky finding replacing him easily. Probably it wasn't that easy, but still.
Yeah. No, but it's all been good. We've worked through all of the various problems so far. My current challenge is actually in programming. I'm the only super active, experienced programmer on the team right now.
Yeah. Do you have any other programmer? Not maybe
do,
not experienced as you, but
yeah, I do, but they're just not as experienced. So, like over that 2 weeks when I was building out the whole trailer, they got like half of the little segment I assigned to them done, whereas I did like 8 segments. So
well, it's kind of normal if yeah, you are the senior one.
oh, that's just it. Like, there's tons of people 2 to 4 times more experienced and faster than I am at my day job. So, it's kind of like, you know, I need to find some more programmers, particularly a more experienced one, at least at my level, if not higher, to really bring the game into focus pretty soon here. So that's kind of what I'm hoping the Kickstarter will either allow me to kind of do that, since I'll be able to potentially quit my day job, or it'll allow me to hire someone and then I can step back from that and focus more on management and
Design.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Instead of currently I do programming, art direction, half the art direction, PR, marketing,
And you keep doing your day job as well at the same time, right?
yeah, and doing my day job.
Yeah.
Standard
Sounds-
indie game shenanigans right there. Yeah.
Well, it's part of why I'm like the 60% stakeholder right now in the project. So. Let's see, I need to get some food.
Yeah, so for food, you can go to Manny's Market and get some ingredients. I think you still have ingredients for now, but once you run out...
I'm just going to make myself 2 omelets.
Yeah, thinking ahead.
Let's see, let's go ahead and... Okay. I like the welcome flower being a cactus.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't something done in purpose, but yeah, it fits.
Confused me for a little bit when I was doing the tutorial, but like I saw it and then I just kind of chuckled. I was like, yeah, that would explain why she says you are welcome flower.
All right. Jabberwocky asks, are there kitchen upgrades that make cooking more efficient? Brock can answer that a bit.
Not more efficient, I would say, at the moment at least, but you unlock some new recipes. Yeah, or I would say, I mean, you unlock recipes by other ways, but you start, I mean, you become able to do those recipes.
Right. It allows you to do more complicated recipes. And
Yeah.
they should give you more positive modifiers, but I just don't think that's currently the case. But
Yeah, I mean, most of the higher level, higher tier recipes give you things like happiness and other stuff as well.
Yeah, that would make sense.
The green light club as opposed to red light. Let's see here. Disturb. Let's see. Mr. Horse with a monocle and a top hat.
That horse actually owns half of the neighborhood here. He's not bad, but yeah, there's the story behind it. Why we can't do it? Okay, I mean, we will put.
You should put a
some of
story
the-
on the little
Yeah.
plaque here.
Exactly. We will.
Cool music place.
By the way, I think I never mentioned it to you, Toshi. But the guy, the owner of this place is a reference to Rajan, our
Yeah, I know.
publisher. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Han says it, when you meet him, he's like, oh, and the owner Raj is a really nice guy. I'm like, oh, haha.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I caught on to that. But I actually don't know. Does Raj like music a lot? I assume he would then. But
He had a past experience about running an online radio.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
Oh, okay.
kind
Cool.
of the reference to that.
Okay. Nice.
Interesting place. They sell spices.
Yeah.
So that would
Cool.
be for the more advanced cooking recipes.
Yeah.
That we're mentioning. Yeah.
Sorry, just looking at this this building looks cool.
Yeah. The artist really
But-
went crazy with Haven. I love it. It's like every
Yeah.
single building is just really cool. Even the
Yeah,
ones that aren't
unfortunately-
accessible, like that one, like whatever. I don't know what's going on there, but just, it just looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this place
we
is
want-
fun.
We wanted to have, we wanted to make heaven like a place where artists are living, and more like a hippie neighborhood.
Sure.
still-
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the artist working on heaven isn't working in the project anymore.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
Yeah. He wanted to work in 3D projects, and he left us.
Oh, interesting.
I don't
Yeah.
blame him.
Yeah.
After this, I honestly am not sure if I would do another pixel art project, just because
Yeah.
of the sheer amount of work that goes into it and the limitations. You don't realize how much it limits character customization and whatnot. Because you have to animate all of the various outfits. Whereas with 3D, you just design the model and stick it onto the 3D model that's already animated. And there you go. So you make the outfit once and you're done. Whereas with 2D, you make the outfit, then you have to make all the frames in the animation for the outfit.
Well, exactly. That's a very good point. This is the exact reason why we used our own animation system. Actually, you should have a chat with our lead developer one day, Brett.
Yeah.
I guess we have something, some problems in common.
Yeah, definitely. Another part of the issue is that we really wanted to create a super fluid visual experience. So that means 8-directional movement, which also explodes the amount of work that goes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have all diagonals as well
Yeah.
Yeah.
for animations. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still kind of debating with the lead artist if that's possible or not.
You want to have it, or you don't want to include the
want
production
to-
budget?
I want to have 8 directionals.
I see.
Oh, Raj is in chat. And he says, yes, I love music.
Yeah.
All right. Return to Rob.
Actually, Rajan loves music so much that he dedicates some of his games to uh, some tracks he loved in the past.
To some what?
He dedicates some games
Mm-hmm.
to some tracks he liked in the past.
Oh, to some tracks. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I think like music in games is lots of times underappreciated. Like,
Very much so. Sound design is severely neglected
Yeah.
in game development for the most part.
yeah.
And so I spent like a lot months working with the audio engineers to figure out the music for our game as well.
Mm,
And I can tell that a lot of work went into getting the feel and the tone and the experiential elements right on the music here.
right. Raj says, yeah, my upcoming game, Fire Tonight, is based on the lyrics of an old Information Society song. Huh.
Yeah, that was the thing I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I find myself, recently I started playing Risk of Rain 2. Good game. I don't know if you guys played that one, but
Which game?
Risk of Rain 2.
Risk of Rain. Yep, it's on my list. Hoping that if Kickstarter goes well, I can actually like play games.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Playing games would be cool, yeah. But that game has really good music, and I find myself, like, I played the game all day for, like a few days, and then when I was driving the next day to go do errands or whatever, I was like, oh, I'm going to listen to Risk of Rain. I wanted to listen to him, like,
Oh, that was
craving it, And it's kind of funny because it's like, part of me is like, I just want to go home and play Risk of Rain 2 just to listen to the music. I mean, and the experience that it brings too, the music with the playing. I don't know, like when a new song hits while you're and you're like, wow, this song's really good, while you're also experiencing the game, it kind of just later on when I'm not playing the game, you kind of crave that experience and listening to it and playing. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe too. I mean, sometimes music just makes you play that game again, or just keep up playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like keep on playing because of the music. I mean, I think Stardew to an extent does that too.
I was just gonna say, Stardew has that really down.
Yep.
Eric, Concerned Ape.
Yep.
He actually, like, music was one of the parts he enjoyed the most working on that, as I understand it.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, that music was one of the things he was most comfortable with before development started. I can't remember what he was least comfortable with. I believe it was coding or something, but
Yeah.
or maybe it was art actually, because I mean, if you look at Sprout Valley, if you've seen pictures of Sprout Valley, the art is a lot more, not anywhere near. Yeah, it's a lot more basic.
Yeah, that's right. I remember him saying that. He knew a bit about coding. He thought he knew that what he didn't know he could learn.
Yep.
But he was definitely not confident in his abilities with regards to art. And you can really see, if you go to the Stardew wiki, they at least used to have a progression you could see of character portraits.
Oh, really? I haven't seen the progression. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I don't see that.
That sounds really cool, actually.
Yeah, you could see it, the characters, not only his art skill improve, but the character design itself improve over time, looking at the progression of the portraits. So, yeah, that's a cool thing. I want to check it out. You know, one thing that I feel like this game doesn't seem to capture, and this was a problem in Graveyard Keeper, actually, that you may want to consider, is the concept of the cycle. So it seems like, you just basically sleep whenever, work whenever.
And you start losing track of time, right?
Yeah.
That happened to me in Graveyard Keeper, and I think I understand what you're telling.
And it basically made the passage of time arbitrary and kind of meaningless in a certain sense in Graveyard Keeper. And so basically, like, you would get certain crafting things going, and you would wake up, walk out the door, craft 5 items, go back to sleep. And I feel like this game could run into that. It may actually work to its favor if it. I'd need to play this game a lot to really know, but it may actually play to its favor in that that's part of the whole theme of losing track of time and days and working and whatnot. Whereas with Graveyard Keeper, I really felt like it was just detracted from the experience that. Day, night, none of it really mattered.
Yeah, I mean, I would criticize Graveyard Keeper with the same words, but I guess this might change a little after we implement the schedule system.
Oh, okay.
So you won't be able to go to work at night, or shops won't be able after midnight. So you will have very little to do after midnight, so it makes sense to go to sleep, or maybe you can read some books or play some games, of course. But
it brings a cycle to the day where you do certain things at a certain time of day, and you have a limited amount of window of day time to do that in. So you got to get my eggs and butter here. Running out. I have to go to the store soon. Let's see.
We're almost at the end of our first hour, by the way. I'm actually quite excited to see One on the Outpost.
Yeah, I've had fun with this. Honestly, I'm going to play it more sometime here, because this game has been very, very fun. It's a very original concept, and I think it'll strike home for a lot of people these days, just because of how much people work now. Geez, he has like one. That's a very, very poorly stocked store, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I'll just buy everything in your store, I guess, on my minimum wage salary.
Yeah, it's you're trying to kind of putting you in a routine, that you need to hit the grocery every couple of days. So you need to go to certain stores every couple of weeks.
I think once food spoils, you could probably stock the store more, because you're still gonna have to hit the store every so often and not buy too much because of spoiling.
Yeah.
But as it stands, yeah. All right. Actually, I think I'm gonna go to the bathroom real fast before I play One Lonely Outpost here. I'm gonna be switching in over to that game in just a minute here.
Sure. Yeah, I can see a lot of potential for this game. And
Do you intend making one on the Outpost early access game, or
It will be early
Uh,
access. The nature of the early access is still kind of up in the air. We're actually thinking of doing it direct for early access. So you'd purchase directly from us instead of through Steam or whatnot, and then maybe you'd get a Steam code when the game's fully released. And there's a few reasons for that. Steam takes a really steep cut, and for the early access, we really need that money to help us finish the game. So that's one thing. I also know that we would get more sales on Steam that would probably make up for that. But on the other hand, I kind of want the players who do early access to be real fans of the game, who aren't who
I understand.
aren't just gonna kind of casually pick it up, play it, and
You
then
don't
be
want
like,
you don't want high expectations, but people who want to develop the game further. So
right.
you're looking for a community rather than just selling your game.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for in the early access phase of One Lonely Outpost. At least the what I call earlier access, which is offered on the Kickstarter. You get it in basically 8 months from now if the Kickstarter passes.
Okay. Oh, I should have the Kickstarter open because I was gonna watch that. It's not super long, I assume.
No, it's 3 minutes.
Oh, you just had a backer, I think. Just the money just went up.
Yep.
Yep.
It's always great. Just like that's what Kickstarter does. They increment up the money.
Yeah.
It's been really exciting the past few days. We've gotten a new influx of. Oh, that was interesting. We've gotten a new influx of backers.
Sweet.
Which is really encouraging.
Sweet.
Snob narcissist duo. That's great.
I want to talk about your Kickstarter experience a little. We had one Kickstarter back in 2013 with our first game, Monochrome One. It was a very exciting month. I guess it was the most exciting month I had in game development. I want to have that once again, but I can't be that confident again, I guess.
Yeah, it comes down to a couple things basically. How many people you got and how good your trailer is. You also have to have good supporting stuff like the page and whatnot too. But yeah, another thing is that we set our goal at the goal that I knew that we would need to 95% guarantee the game would be done, it would be made, and it would be made to what we presented to people at that time. Unfortunately, because we live in relatively high cost of living countries, like the US and Singapore and whatnot, that means that we had to ask for quite a lot of money, 80K, which is a lot for a Kickstarter. But I did not want to take anyone's money if I wasn't 95+% sure I could deliver to them what they were paying me for.
Yeah.
It's...
And 80K is not a huge amount of money. It's, Kickstarter bar is a bit low normally. And people are asking some lower amounts of money, and I don't know how they're completing their games with those amounts.
As far as I can tell, they're just using it as supplementary and to kind of help with like small bits of contract work. They need to push it over the top, so it's less of a Kickstarter and more of a top offer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we don't really have that kind of latitude. I'd say if the Kickstarter fails, there's a 50-50 chance the game will get done, and it'll probably have to have the scope cut quite a bit, just to make sure that we can deliver it. And so that's that's been the story of mine. A lot of these people set their goals low, because people tend to back Kickstarters a lot more if they if the Kickstarter meets its goal in a short period of time. It's like, yeah, I don't really understand. I understand some of the psychology behind it, but for the most part, it's really just a oh well, all these other people thought this was a good idea, so I guess I'll just trust what is popular instead of
Is
actually.
80K, by the way, your whole budget for the game, or
80K is the minimum budget to bring the game to full early access. It's 12 months of development from a programmer and an artist, plus a little bit for to pay an audio engineer, and it would get us there to the early access release, and then the early access funding would get us the rest of the way.
yeah, I see.
All right, should we switch over?
Sure.
I'm excited to watch this trailer.
All right.
Because I haven't
Just
seen
let me
it. Let's see here. Oh, and then I will share my screen with you guys as well, so you'll be able to see what's going on.
Sweet.
Let me go here like this, and then can you stop sharing your screen so then and then I'll share mine. Okay, and it is in OBS, but that'll work just fine. Make it a little bigger too. Okay.
Did you read, Brett, about Eric Baron's decision about not making the game an early access game?
I did, and if we had that option, that's obviously a great option. But not everyone has that option, basically. You know.
I'm curious what I actually don't know if I've heard about this. So for me and anyone listening, what did he say about early access?
Well, Eric Baron, developer of Stardew Valley,
Yep.
said in an interview that Stardew Valley is not a good fit for early access genre.
Not a good fit. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of disagree with that.
I actually disagree with it too. I love Concerned Ape, and he's super talented, but I think a lot of it's not too crazy to get like all of the core for something like Stardew Valley to get the core gameplay mechanics and gameplay loop going, but then getting all of the characters and storylines and all the music and all the content. There's a lot of content that can come later, but I feel like for early access, if you have like the core gameplay loop down and they can see like, oh, this is really fun and good, it just needs the content now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do see where he's coming from, though. When we first started building One Lonely Outpost, we got about 3 months in, and we actually had most of the basics in there. We had planting, we had crops growing, we had fainting at night, we had the day cycles, we had running around and mining things and whatnot. All of the 101 basic features,
core gameplay features.
Yeah. And what I'll say is that it was not fun. It was not it just did not do it, and it's because Stardew Valley and games like it are holistic experiences. They're about immersing you in the experience of the game more so than other games. They're not about the crunchy mechanics. They're not about these other things that other games are. So I will agree that it's not an ideal fit for early access, but at the same time, I don't think that it's unviable if you have your game, what you do release, polished enough. And it's
Yeah.
all about making sure that whatever you released is sufficiently polished. You can leave some content out, but make sure that whatever content you put out for a game like Stardew Valley, that content is polished. Players are much more willing in this kind of genre to wait for more content than they are to receive content that is not sufficiently ready
Yeah.
to play, because it's about evoking a certain experiential just experience. I mean, it's that's kind of redundant, but that's really what it is you have to immerse the player. And if the player is not immersed, if they're not drawn in by the sounds, the sights, and how intuitively the game feels, then they're going to be removed from the experience of escaping from this world into another. And the game's just not going to be fun. So that's, I have that in mind. So as a result, I am confident that we can pull off an early access, but it is not as simple as a lot of games.
Yeah, that's fair. There's plenty of games where you could literally just make the gameplay where it's fun for an hour or two, but like, and that's all you need to get going. But with Stardew or a game like this, you can't just have the gameplay without any of like the events or characters or anything that come with it that kind of make it a whole experience. That is a good point.
Right, and having the really tight controls and all of that stuff. You consider that some games like platformers, Kirby, infamous story about Kirby is that Kirby's character design is actually programmer placeholder art. They did not have the artwork ready, and the programmers needed to have something to put in the game. And they just kept not getting it from the artist, so the programmer just drew a circle, stuck some legs and eyes on it, and started programming with it. And the game was so much fun that they just turned that into the character.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywho, I'll let you get to it.
Yeah, should we watch this? Hopefully you guys will be able to wait, let me think about this. Would you be able to hear it the way this is set up right now? Probably yes. Yes. I think so. This is the Kickstarter trailer for One Lonely Outpost. Wow. I see a pet. Wow.
I think you're combining two experiences here with one on the outpost. I mean, the first one is farming sim for sure, and the other one is terraforming a planet.
Yeah, terraforming planet. Yeah, makes sense. Wow. Space Colony Stardew PogChamp. Yeah. Wow, okay.
Welcome to One Lonely Outpost, a sci-fi farming sim where you will customize your character, then arrive on a desolate, barren planet as the first and only colonist. As you build up your farm, you make it possible for other people to arrive. People who are shy and clumsy, people who are fun and quirky, and some plain old weird dudes. As people come to your colony, a town builds. And maybe you'll find someone in it to share your journey with. But growing a successful farm is never easy, not even in the future. You'll have the alien weather to contend with. And your crops will need tending.
Whoa, what the heck? Interesting.
You also have choices to make. Do you go with an all-natural organic path, or do you take advantage of all the future has to offer?
Oh,
And maybe
industrial,
end up with some
100%.
very strange crops.
Oh yeah, GMOs for days.
Try some fishing.
Oh, this is just a really cool looking scene here. Like
Yeah.
all that. This looks
Or
great.
cook up a bite to eat.
Water
while
shading
loose.
is really cool there.
Or
Yeah.
enter the mines for some precious minerals.
You had to do a lot of artwork just for this trailer. It looks like there's a
While
lot of work
exploring,
here.
Find ancient alien ruins with robots who want to test you. And maybe you'll find out just how this planet came to be, and how far you can take its future. Join us on One Lonely Outpost.
Can we customize our spaceship though? Well, I'm not sure the spaceship will have too much function. Like you know, you're gonna only be on the planet, right, Brad?
Yeah, you will only be on the planet. The spaceship you arrive in isn't really meant to like last. It's kind of like an RV. We colloquially call it the space RV. And so it's really just your like temporary home until you can build a proper home.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
So that's kind of the purpose of it. And after you've got that, then we're looking into customizing your house that you build and the colony and whatnot as well. But that's kind of a function of how much we can raise, how much we can do. And you notice how that fishing scene looked really amazing.
Yeah.
That's actually our ideal vision for the game. Unfortunately,
Sure, okay.
that one little shot there took our senior artist like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks.
Right.
So,
Well, you know, once you have the assets done, there's a fair bit of things you can reuse. But yeah, I see. Yeah. Oof.
yeah, the ground. The point here is that all of what you see here is unique.
Yeah.
All of it's been painted for this express purpose. It's not like a bunch of pasted rocks or a repeated ground tile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't
True.
look like
Yeah. That's.
game assets, but rather than a complete, it looks like a complete scene.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
it
Yeah.
looks
Nothing here looks
amazing.
tiled. Like, how could you tile any of this? I mean, I guess.
yeah,
I guess
like
just
old point and
the
click
dock
games.
is about it. Dock's like the only thing you could tile here, and even then, it's just custom stuff anyway. So not really.
Right. I mean, we can reuse little bits and pieces and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the idea is that it would be painted kind of like if you ever played Final Fantasy 9 or Final Fantasy 7.
It's my favorite game of all time. Final Fantasy 9. Favorite of all time.
Mine too, actually.
Oh,
Like,
interesting.
I know I'm like
Yeah.
the minority. Tons of people like 7.
No,
I'm
yeah,
like,
I'm minority
I
too.
really like 9.
Oh, yeah.
The story was just phenomenal.
And the hand painted scenes, like you're saying, it's just
yeah.
every scene
Um,
hand painted. It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like if I was able to make this game exactly how I envision it in my head, that's what it would look like.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate that may not be able to happen, but you know, we can always build the game with larger tileable assets to begin with, and then if we later get more funding, we can, during like early access or a publisher or whatnot, we can go back through and take the extra time to touch them up and whatnot.
Yeah.
One thing that we have done so far that has turned out really cool is the water shader you'll see there.
Yeah.
You see the water ripples along the shore as well as the sparkles and the distortion. Our technical artist has done phenomenal work on that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's looking cool. that opening sequence you saw with like the whole farm growing and whatnot, that's what took me 200 hours to do.
Yeah, I'd
Uh,
imagine. So everything dropping in, you got all, yeah, it's,
yeah, so I had a lot of fighting to do with Unity's animation system in that process,
yeah, yeah,
as I'm sure you can imagine.
yeah.
But anywho, feel free to get to it and see what we have so far.
Yeah.
It's not as impressive as the trailer
Yeah.
yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah, the trailer puts your vision
That's what
right
you want for
into
the
the.
trailer, though. I mean, it's really good job of like you know like that's what you want to see in the game when you release it, right? That's like what they're looking for.
Right.
So okay, let me let's see. This should be good. And hopefully the sound is on here. I'll find out in a sec. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's the original.
It does look like an
space
RV.
map.
It does look like an RV. You've left planets covered in cities to travel across the stars, wave civilization. I really like the way it like swipes here. I don't know if you're gonna keep all this, but I like the way it looks. Start out a new life, but new colony, building a farm. Planet with no life. Okay. So we're just pop right in the game here, and this is a alpha build for people wondering. So you're like, oh, like, you know, if we find any bugs, I don't know if we're going to, but if we do, you know, alpha build. And I've already played it for like a little bit, so I kind of know how to play. But the first thing you notice when you play is the 8 directions, like you're talking about, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's a lot more work. But I like it.
But it does create a much smoother animation of the character.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, it does. It also kind of reminds me, I guess the character design and like the 8 direction reminds me a lot of like the Super Nintendo era RPGs. I'm sure people have mentioned that to you before, but you know, like a Secret of Mana or something like that.
Yeah, the original character design here actually is from the first lead artist, and he was inspired by Toriyama, Akira Toriyama.
Akira Toriyama, okay.
Yeah, he did DBZ, Chrono Trigger, and
Okay.
a couple of others.
Yeah.
So that's where the Vegeta hair comes from in the original character design. We've since kind of come up with a new character design that you saw in the trailer. It just doesn't have all of the animations ready yet, so that's why you don't see it in the game. We had to just focus on what we needed for the trailer at the time.
Right.
You will notice though that we did manage to get the new UI in. If you played an older build, you would have seen a very heavy blue theme.
Yeah, I remember that blue UI.
Yeah, and I like it, but it was a bit heavy and a little distracting and hard on the eyes. I do like the new UI better. It's a lot cleaner and sleeker. So I'm pretty happy with it. You'll see the plants kind of shaking there. That's the start of a feature, actually. Wind waves. So there will be wind that comes across your farm, and it will create some dynamic animation with your plants.
Oh, so it'll be more like synergized. You'll see it kind of like spread over the farm.
Right.
Okay, that would be
as your
cool.
farm grows, it will become a lot more obvious. Yes. And there's still lots of animation tweaking. It's just
I can already see. Oh, I can't see it now. Okay, yeah. When it's larger, you'll see it. Yeah, right. If I have plants over here too, and then you kind of see it coming across, it'll make more sense. I see. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering what the shaking was. I'm just gonna plant all this stuff. And then time. Okay, so it's like 4 p.m. right now. Let's do this. Space bucks. Are you gonna have if you come up with a name for the, or are you gonna keep space bucks for the?
Unless somebody bothers us about it, we're gonna keep space bucks.
I like it.
We didn't call it a space Winnebago that you arrive in, so I'm hoping that we don't run afoul of anything.
I'm gonna get all of it.
I see what you did there with Delivery Zone logo.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I didn't see that before. I like how it's a rocket ship. That's perfect. That's great.
Yep, and it makes a smiley face.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I actually did that pixel art, so the final product will look better. I am capable of doing pixel art. I am not good at it.
What part of the game you made? I mean, is there any asset
the-
that you made in this scene, for example?
No, basically just the Delivers On logo.
Okay.
I've touched up some rocks before, but none of them are in the game anymore. Thank God.
Dang it. Whoa, the light.
You need some sleep. Like there's sleep mechanic in One Lonely Outpost.
You do. I believe it's like 2 a.m. That it will force you, or if you run out of battery. And you can see his battery getting pretty low there.
Oh, yeah, I'm out. I see.
Eventually, there'll be some kind of penalty associated with it. For now, I don't believe there is any.
Selling this stuff.
Might want to hang on to the copper.
Oh, is there not copper around? Which one?
Oh,
This-
there is copper. Just
Gonna need it soon.
you're gonna need it.
Okay, I'll hang out to the copper. I'll take your advice. You should probably take the advice of the designer of the game. Okay. I know I need to. It looks like I need to buy the first furnace. Like there's no other way around it.
Currently, that's the case. In the future, once we introduce more intermediate components, we'll make it so that you just have to purchase like certain parts for it. But that's kind of the way we plan to work it. It also might be the result of a quest reward.
That makes sense.
Still quest rewards are actually like one of the next things on the list to get in the game, as is removing items, which you currently can't actually do. So once you place a furnace or a pipe or a pump or a sprinkler, they are presently there forever.
Yeah.
But that's very soon on the list.
It's a lot of things that when you play games but you don't develop them, you take for granted. You don't even think about, oh, you have to develop that too. It's like, oh yeah, you can develop everything. Like,
Well, I will say that Unity totally could have made it easier and whatnot, but until recently they didn't allow for certain kinds of what's called serialization, which is just taking the stuff in the game and turning it into some kind of savable format. And they didn't support certain features for the longest time and kind of drove everyone nuts, but fortunately they do support it now, so we'll be able to get a little bit better. It'll be easier for us to implement game saving, which again is very close on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say removing items, game saving, and quests are the 3 things we're working on next. And what you can expect soon after the Kickstarter is done. While the Kickstarter is going, we're basically not going to be developing a whole lot. You will see some artwork because the art team is going to continue working, but since I have to manage the Kickstarter and I'm the only programmer right now, not going to see a whole lot of game development.
Okay. I'm just gonna plant all this stuff. Oh, my battery is barely gone down. Oh, can I undo hotspots? Probably not.
No, not yet.
Oh.
Again, sorry.
No, that's good. That's good.
We actually have some. There's a 4th thing. I forgot one more thing we're working on very shortly is reworking the control schema. Right now, it's kind of clunky. We're very aware, and we will be fixing that. We're actually going to take away one of your inventory slots and replace that on the left, and replace that with the Omni tool. And so you'll select that in order to use the Omni tool instead of using a separate button. That way, items and the Omni tool will all use the spacebar. In order to swap out functions, if you want to manually choose a different function for the Omni tool, you'll be able to click on the Omni tool icon and select from your various Omni tool options. We also may have to rename the Omni tool because someone recently pointed out that that is the name of the
Satisfactory
multi-purpose tool in Mass Effect.
Oh, in Mass Effect? Oh, I didn't think about Mass Effect.
So,
But I guess it's okay. I mean, a lot of games have axes, pickaxes, and other stuff like that.
Yeah. Also,
So,
Omni tool's pretty. I mean,
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it until I get the inevitable cease and desist from EA because it's EA.
That's I didn't really consider the whole EA part. I was. Yeah.
I don't think you will have any problem with that.
But yeah.
Oh, okay. Mining goes through a lot more battery. I see. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. I also did notice I was getting some mail. I haven't got any mail yet, but when I played it before, I was getting some mail. So I think we'll probably get some mail tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, you should get some on the 3rd or 4th. Right now, the NPCs all show up at fixed time intervals. In the final game, it will be very much based on your actions. So as you'll have to export a certain amount of crops or really just value before you'll be able to get more colonists. The idea is that you're creating this farm in order to sustain a colony. And so you have to be able to produce a certain amount in order to get that colony going. So
Some stuff.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's kind of where all of that's at right now, but in the end you'll have to actually go and clear the site for the NPC, and then reach a certain amount of exports and meet any other unique criteria that the particular NPC needs. So for example, the colony psychologist requires that there be somebody else on the colony. I mean, why would they come if there's just you?
Right.
The crazy old guy, he'll show up only if you have some other people there because he's looking for actually a place to retire. So the crazy old guy is actually named Cuckoo Chuck, and he is an ex-corporate spy.
Okay.
The character idea actually came from the writer telling me, "I've got this awesome idea for a character, and it's a character who you'll talk to them, and half the time they'll tell you nonsense, and the other half the time they'll tell you really useful things, and you have to figure out which they're telling you."
Oh my god. Oh my god. I like it. Getting trolled in the game. Sometimes. Wow.
So sometimes he'll tell you what another NPC likes.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say a good 2/3, 3/4 of the time, he's actually telling you what they like.
Mm-hmm.
Another part of the time, you might give it to them, and they'll hate it. And if you go back to him and actually tell him that, he'll just tell you something to the effect of, "I see. Thank you for that information."
So is there a set plot for the game? Like, is there an ending? Is there that are you trying to finish the game somehow?
So there's two major plot lines that happen throughout the game. The first plot line is that takes you from early game to mid game is the or synthetic versus naturalistic paths, and that's your natural farm versus your futuristic gene spliced farm. The naturalistic path, you'll have to tend your crops a lot more, but they will sell for a premium, and you'll get a lot of money per crop. You'll also be able to get natural animals that you have to develop, relationships with the same way that you do in Stardew Valley, where they actually start to like you more if you see them every day and you pet them and you groom them and all of that stuff. Conversely, the synthetic path, you get access to gene splicing, which is a fun and cool mechanic you saw a bit of in there. You can kind of customize your crops. There is a chance of mutation and whatnot, but you also get access to robo animals who produce synthetic meat and synthetic products. It's this cool idea we came up with for a no-kill future where everybody gets all of their food, meat and otherwise, without the need to kill animals. They just actually grow the meat separately.
Yeah.
In robo cows instead of having to slaughter real cows. Maybe there's a black market for real cow meat, but yeah, that won't really be part of it. But the first part of the game's kind of focused on just starting the colony and making that decision. Which of those two paths are you going to take the farm? And that decision,
going to make that decision.
You are going to make that decision, and that will have some impacts on the town. Both paths are going to be presented as having pros and cons, moralistically. The naturalistic path is portrayed as healthier, better for you, and potentially less dangerous and all of that. Conversely, though, if you go with the synthetic, the pros to the synthetic path is that the naturalistic farming methods can't actually grow enough food for everyone. So people would starve if if the entire universe only went with naturalistic farming. So you kind of have to make this decision yourself, which one you feel like is the best choice to make for your farm.
Would your colony specifically be affected, or you just mean like other people in the universe won't be able to have, there won't be enough food, or you mean like people in your colony?
It won't directly affect the rest of the universe. I mean, there's many colonies,
right?
Supporting this, but it's more of an ideological decision. You'll get the two of the NPCs will be determined by which path you pick, and some NPCs will lose some affection with you, who have particularly strong feelings about the matter. Most NPCs, they won't really, they'll respect your decision and whatnot, but a couple of them will feel very strongly about it.
But no one will starve, or will someone starve?
No one will starve. Ultimately, all you have to do to keep your colony going is export stuff, because there's obviously mining colonies too. The point is that you're proving it's a viable colony by farming and mining stuff and all of that. Strip mining stuff though will be limited because the resources won't come back super fast on the surface. Some of the crystals regrow and whatnot, but you will have to be the only really renewable resource is the things you can grow on the surface. To get renewable like minerals and whatnot. Yeah, there's one of the emails.
While you finish up what you're saying.
But yeah, so my point was, it'll be an equal decision, and you'll be able to choose one path or the other. They'll have some impacts on your town, but ultimately the decision is up to the player and what they want to play and how they feel about the matter. We're very strongly. We have a very strong opinion that our game is not there to preach at you. It's not there to make a political statement. It's there to escape from the craziness that's out there today.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so, yeah, we're just going to present you another world that's simpler than this one and a little more enjoyable. So,
okay, yeah.
But you're still about to make some complex decision making.
Right. You'll still have to make decisions, and they still won't always be simple, but they'll be contained to the game, and they're not going to punish you. You can feel fairly confident in that this game is there for you to have fun and to play it how you want to, and how choosing how you want to play the game is not going to make it any less fun. So.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we got an email. Greetings, colonists. Receiving this message to inform you that the impending arrival of new colonists who shall fulfill the requirement of electrical engineer. Who is this from? This message. Just like, let's see. Aaron is. Oh, someone dropped out of the call. Hello?
Hey, I'm still here. I guess Brett is not.
Oh, Brad might have dropped out. Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Oh, okay. Okay. Aaron is certified macro and micro electrician and meets basic colony for need for such, along with an environmental engineer and sufficient food and other exports. This type of expert is required for colony to be recognized as suitable for general purposes. Okay. Already in transit. Arrive in a few days. Okay.
What was the name at the end? ExploriCorp?
Yep, ExploriCorp. That's the private agency that has partnered with the government to support new colonies.
Interesting. Sounds like there's gonna be some story to that later.
Most of the stuff that happens outside of your planet is backdrop to the story, similar to how Stardew was. You know that there was this empire that's at war with the Federation you live in and stuff, but you never really delve too deep into it. You'll be able to tease out information about the greater universe as you play and talk to more NPCs in One Lonely Outpost, but it's ultimately not super relevant to at least the first half of the story. Now, the second half, I mentioned that that synthetic versus naturalistic takes you through about the middle of the game. Well, after that, a new plot line develops, which is one of colony independence.
Oh, okay.
So those the government that commissioned your colony technically is entitled to govern your colony, but it is not unheard of for new colonies to ultimately become independent and join the equivalent of Starfleet, basically, in this setting. And so that's what the second half of the story is going to be about, is attaining independence for your colony from this. If you fail to do so, what we termed an idiot bureaucrat will show up and just kind of generally be annoying about things. Until you finally manage to complete it and kick him out as a community. And so it's what I like to call a story of peaceful independence. Because it will be independence won through peaceful means in the storyline.
Furnace time.
Yep.
Let's see. And I have copper. Might as well get some iron and gold. Actually, now I need to start looking at the craft recipes. I haven't looked at the craft recipes at all because I've just been doing this, but this is probably good to start doing that. So that stuff will be there tomorrow. Oh, and potatoes are done too. Okay. Let me take a look at my crafting. Okay. Okay. I assume, well, you need all these things to be able to do anything, basically. You need the pump, you need the pipes, you need the sprinkler.
Yep. A note on the pumps, they do need to be placed adjacent to water. Yeah,
I saw something. I don't know, I already saw a note, but you did mention that already in the game, which is good. Somewhere in the game it told me, I think. Or, oh, you know what? Maybe it was in Discord, actually, and wasn't in the game. I lied. What's going on now? Oh, it's the robot. So is this the newer design for the character then, or is this...
So that's actually not supposed to be there.
Oh,
okay. Originally, we were considering having a portrait for the player. In the end, the cost was too high when compounded with character customization. So effectively, we could have a character portrait, or we could have deep character customization. We couldn't have both, and we decided to have deeper character customization instead of a portrait.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We made the same decision, actually.
Yeah. Wait, so it's... Oh, yeah, in Stardew, there's just nothing. You just don't have... You just see them, not you.
Yep.
Yeah. Frantically fix. Doesn't work. Remains unresponsive. Actually, I normally would pick up Cordy, but I did that last time, so then I was like, oh, I wonder what the other thing does. Same thing, but... Okay. I got water, all this stuff. This stuff right here? That's not right. So what kind of equipment are you going to be able to get? Because I do see an equipment page.
That's still kind of in development in terms of design and whatnot. It's likely that you'll be able to get upgraded stuff for your gauntlet, as well as potentially your backpack or clothes. And we do have hats planned as well, just as vanity items.
Okay. Yeah.
So those will be things that you'll probably be able to equip in some fashion. There will also be a dungeon with some pretty cool looking equipment to go in there. It's halfway between like armor and a power suit that you'll have for exploring the alien ruins. Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
So you will have some kind of a combat aspect of the game as well.
Yes. When talking about stories, I should also mention that we do have optional combat in the form of the alien ruins. You find them, and the unique thing about them is the robots specifically and intentionally will never kill anyone who comes in. They instead knock them out and dump them outside. And the ruins internally will actually rearrange themselves every time. All of this is actually tied directly into the lore. It's not just a mechanics gimmick, and will be part of telling the story of these ruins, which will explain to you how this world kind of came to be. So it's a world with elemental oxygen and liquid water. And that's very uncommon in the galaxy, especially on planets that don't have any plants, to have elemental oxygen and a full hydrosphere the way this planet does. So, why do they have it? Well, these ruins obviously have something to do with it. And so as you explore the ruins, you will kind of uncover the mystery behind the world. This isn't really necessary to complete to understand the community stories of the town and your farm, but it will offer insights into the game's world and how it came to be. And there is a kind of secret option that allows you to uncover these things without combat too. But yeah, it's supposed to kind of be a secret, so I'll leave that off
Okay.
Yeah.
for now. But yeah, it's pretty fun and cool. Ultimately, I will say that the robots are not malicious in their intentions. And you'll learn about the bygone civilization that left them and why they left them. So, and that part will be a lot of fun, I think. We also intend for it not to just be combat. It's going to also be like puzzling and whatnot with tools you use to navigate through the dungeons and whatnot.
Okay, I got my furnace. Oh. I guess I should put him here. Okay, so when I place this is it. So, it's, wherever I place it.
It's also somewhat large.
Okay.
So it's 2x2.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad. That's too bad. Oh, E, probably. Space. Okay. Okay. Ooh, I don't know about fuel source, but we're about to just go right into it.
Yeah,
okay, good.
doesn't require a fuel source.
Okay.
It runs on future energy for the moment.
Gotta love that future energy. All right, so only one at a time. So I'll have to like babysit it a bit. Oh, okay. Discontinuing production of QWERTY. No. ASDF manufacturing.
Did you like QWERTY's model number?
Oh shoot, I missed the model number part of it. Totally just flew right over my head. M30W. I don't get it. It still went over my head. Do you get it, Brock?
Oh. Yeah.
What is it?
Meow, like a cat.
Oh, meow. Oh, okay. I was thinking along the lines of like QWERTY, like along the keyboard. And I was thinking keyboard things and not meow.
Because he looks a little like a cat.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh wait, I can get that. Oh, okay. So much money.
There'll be plenty of tweaking done in the end on the how much everything kind of gets you, and the price versus benefit, the time factor.
Yeah.
I actually never really liked that in Stardew Valley. There was always a very definitive best choice for what to plant at a given time, to maximize, definitively maximize your profits and income.
Yeah, actually, I have something to add to that, but I'll let you finish first. Um, yeah.
So I plan to spend a lot of time balancing out those elements of design. But then I had mentioned a challenge mode earlier.
Yep.
And this is a good time to get back to that.
Yeah.
Because in the challenge mode, the gene splicing as well as the prices will have a random factor to them. But also, the sale prices of your crops and other minerals will actually tie into an online server, a simple online server that we'll set up that collects information from players playing in challenge mode. And as people sell more of a particular item, its sale price will go down. And the price of other goods will go up. So if everybody keeps selling the same one or two things, it'll end up not being very profitable.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds-
It's all really
sounds
interesting. Sorry, Brock?
Sounds interesting, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super interesting. So I play, so a little about me. I play like lots of Stardew. Like I have like 3,000 plus hours, and I do a bunch of challenge runs. It's more like, that's probably the main thing I stream is Stardew challenge runs. So, it's really interesting because you talk about like the profit, like there's like the best thing to do. There is, but it's actually evolved a lot as I've done the challenge runs because, you have things like when you start, you think you know the best crop for spring and then for summer and whatever. But the interesting thing is the best profit crops aren't actually always the best thing to get. Like in spring, it's actually best to get kale if you're trying to min-max the game to the fullest potential, because kale has a slightly higher amount of XP that you get per the amount of effort you put in, like watering and that kind of thing. And watering and the energy put towards watering is actually like a really key factor in the early game. And the amount of XP you get allows you to get things like quality sprinklers with less amount of time watering, so you can do things like mining. Because like halfway through spring in Stardew, we're already in the challenge run. You're already in the Skull Caverns getting iridium, and that's how you're making a lot of your money in spring. But so the thing that I really found interesting, because I did all these challenge runs, and you find the perfect way to do everything is, I was like, man, wouldn't it be great if you had randomization or like supply and demand and stuff like that? And so I made a mod for Stardew Valley, because Stardew Valley Randomizer, where it randomizes all the crop prices, and all the crafting recipes and the mines, everything basically. So every playthrough is different.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we intend to do that. I'm not going to impose that on the standard gameplay mode.
Yeah.
Because the overwhelming majority of people who play Stardew Valley and games like it, they're not there for the challenge.
Yeah.
They're there to enjoy building their farm. And so I am so not going to mess with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Instead, I'm simply going to focus on, the more broad, just making that initial experience great, and then adding on these things that really don't take that much effort on our behalf, like randomization and market economics.
Yeah.
And kind of making that the challenge mode, where basically all that it's really doing is taking away the wiki.
Yeah.
So you can't just look up the best answer.
Yeah, you don't have default decisions too. You have to like actually think every time about what you're gonna do, what you're gonna buy, and how that plays into it. Yeah.
You know, another unique mechanic that we are hoping to do actually is make it so that all of the NPCs have a different optimal way to increase your relationship score with them. So some NPCs will prefer that you just talk to them every single day. Other NPCs might like it if you play little mini games with them. You know, you don't just spam parsnips at people and suddenly they like you. Instead, it's more focused on getting to know the person and whatnot. You can still just spam parsnips and eventually they'll like you. But if you take the time and brain space to actually get to know that NPC, you'll be able to befriend them much faster using other methods as well, which I feel like really makes it a lot more personal and a lot more just lifelike for the NPCs. Oh, here's a cutscene.
Aaron, Ron. I'm glad I get to meet the founder. As much as Explore Corp would like to think otherwise, employee summaries just don't do it. I'm Aaron. I'll shake your hand. I shake your hand, but not everyone is comfortable with that. I'm glad to get to meet the founder. As much as Explore Corp would like to think otherwise, employee summaries just don't do it. Wait, oh, dang it. Sorry, I didn't know. Okay. I should see the point. Of course, we're shaking hands. Okay. Glad to have you, fellow colonist. Here we go. Okay, so is he around now?
Yes, he is. You'll just have to run on over to the colony.
Okay.
There is some additional level design work that needs done. I've noticed that it's not immediately apparent how you get to the colony from here. And so that's definitely on our radar of things to kind of fix.
Okay, well, don't tell me, and we'll see how we do. Oh man, I guess I know to go right because I watched the trailer. Unless this isn't right, we'll find out. Oh yeah. Oh.
Do you want to implement a map or someday?
Oh, what was that?
Do you think about implementing a map?
Oh yes, we'll definitely have a map eventually. But we do not have a map right now. That's still, you know, a work in progress feature.
Rocks.
There you go.
There he is. Upgrade your gauntlet. Can you upgrade gauntlets yet?
Not yet. That's on the list after those 4 things I mentioned.
Yeah, it makes sense. Quests are more important, and yeah, the other things you mentioned. Can't go in here either, I assume, right now. But...
Not yet, no. Whenever Sally arrives, you will be able to go inside her lander, but nobody else's yet.
Oh, okay. Is this like a landing zone here? It looks like it or something.
Yes, eventually a mail ship will come in there.
Okay. Should explore around a bit. Different music.
Minor bug.
Minor bug. There's a fair bit of those in Circadian as well.
Yeah. I guess, I mean...
Layering bugs are just common, right? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, they will keep being around for a while.
Okay, if I just skirt the perimeter, I might be able to find some more. No.
or break out of it. We had a ton of trouble with that before, but we finally have that basically resolved. The character slipping on the terrain when you collide with it still isn't quite where we want it to be.
Oh yeah, I did notice like animations could kind of slip, like, or I noticed something a bit with the animations when I would hit walls sometimes, but
yeah, it stops the animation like mid animation sometimes, and it also it feels a little sticky as well at times, which I definitely want to make sure I resolve that.
there's the crafting. There we go. Craft pipes, steel. Steel.
You can buy the ingredients as well if you're short on everything else.
Right. I'm not sure how to make steel.
With iron.
Oh, just with iron. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll
Okay, I have some iron right now.
make sure to get proper tooltips in as well. That's proper tooltips, targeting indicators, placement indicators, lots of UX improvements that we definitely have on our radar. Those kind of things are absolutely critical to the game experience, and so they will be included. The little indicator for progress on using your Omni tool was something I implemented just because that kind of feedback is really critical in this kind of game.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's one of the things that it's harder to do than people think and do it right, is just like having intuitive UI that communicates to the player what they need to know. And for something like Circadian, it's kind of it's difficult because there's so many things. Like there's stress and happiness and motivation, and it's like, okay, well, like it's one thing to have the metrics, but another thing for the player to know how they're affecting things and when they're affecting things and why they would want to affect things. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
There's a lot of different things to try to communicate to the player. So
Right. And a super smooth, super clear experience is just really important. Oh, and you actually do get to see a little more of my pixel art. That indicator is also something I did.
with the check mark and whatever,
Yeah.
Okay, you did do that yourself? Okay. Nice. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep so I can get these other furnaces going.
Did you mention tooltips, Brad?
Yes. You can get a tooltip by just clicking on an item in your inventory right now, but you will get hover over. We will ultimately have hover over tooltips where you mouse over something, you get a tooltip, as well as doing a better job with those kind of tooltips and what they say, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just
This is what I have in mind for the next version of Circadian UI.
Yeah, as a hobby
We don't
mentioned
have
that. I think.
We don't have mouse control at the moment, so we don't have tooltips neither.
Yeah.
okay.
But you could still scroll through your inventory and then have it show up saying what it is or something. Because same thing with this game, right? Like you do have mouse, but even if you didn't, like if you scroll over,
would be able to scroll over it.
Yeah.
And what I'm probably going to do for the bar is have a shortened tooltip pop up right above the toolbar, and it just pops up and then fades out shortly thereafter, just to be like, hey, if you didn't know what this was, here's a reminder.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the same thing in Circadian. It's like, what is this? Open inventory, and then like, like, oh, okay, amber.
Yeah, no, it'll be much easier and more intuitive in the final version. Like I said, the
No. It's also the same thing in Circadian. You get like, I guess you can get rid of them. You can move them now with the hammer, but you don't know where you're placing them. But that's going to be added. I assume you're going to do the same.
yes, there will be tile indicators showing where you're going to place things.
Yeah.
Adding in multi-tile collision checking placement in the first place was actually way more complicated than you might expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good like 2 weeks of work.
Wow.
But I'm pretty happy with it. So now it's just dressing it up with actual feedback and whatnot.
Do I need to water the grass? The wheat?
Yes.
Okay.
Wheatgrass.
Wheatgrass, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll also have different seasons for your crops. Certain crops will grow. You'll really only be able to plant them in certain seasons or in a greenhouse, or an agrodome. We'll have like giant greenhouse as well that you can get if you go down the organic route, the naturalistic route. Because one of the ironies is that the naturalistic path requires actually more equipment on your farm to manage it. You need to protect the crops and tend to them and whatnot a lot more because they're not genetically modified to live better in this environment.
I was actually just about to ask about that. What's the plans with like you have different weather, and the weather is going to be a main factor on like how you take care of your crops. So like for example, the dust storm, I saw another one. How are they going to affect the crops?
So dust storms will require you to basically go through every crop and dust it off the next day.
Oh wow, okay. In that mini game thing that you showed, or like
that's the intention.
Okay.
You'll be able to upgrade your gauntlet to get a blower that just does it without going through that mini game.
Okay.
But until then, you'll have to do it by hand, and that'll be regardless of which path you take. Sandstorms are kind of one of those annoying weather events, but conversely, rain, if you happen to get rain the next day, the rain will just wash it off too.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Let's see. Can I see where you put that real quick? Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Just
I
making
tried to
sure
get
it
as
was
close as I
perfect.
could, and it wouldn't do anything. I was like, a little further, a little further.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's good.
I'm a little worried about getting the piping through here, but I should be all right.
Yeah,
Need a
just
lot
need
of
it.
copper.
Yep. Glad I told you not to sell your copper.
Yeah. And what is that? Is gold. Okay. I'm gonna have to buy some more copper too. I think there's a bunch of copper down here as well. Somewhere.
Currently, smelting times, by the way, are relative to real life scales. So, for example, your gold and copper take less time than iron, even though that's not necessarily the way the tiers work. As we continue to develop, we'll reevaluate it. It's just been one of those little minor things that's bothered me in games in the past where like gold takes the longest to smelt, even though it has the lowest melting temperature and the simplest process. Versus iron, which takes a ridiculously high temperature for a long time to really smelt it if you don't have a blast furnace, which is a massive construction.
We got a few messages in the chat here. Someone's like, I'm gonna design a game like this. Thought of a game like this before. Your game is better than Stardew Valley. Well, it's not my game. It's Brad who you're listening to, who's been talking about it. He's the lead designer, developer. And you can check it out on the, let me post it again here, the Kickstarter. Kickstarter is going right now for another 18 days. You Super Saiyan. Yeah, Super Saiyan. Yeah, they're going to change the, I like it. It does remind me of like Dragon Ball Z, but I think the character design's going to change. And then Ruben June on Facebook says the new UI looks neat.
Thank you. Yeah, we felt like it could do with refining versus the old UI. It's a lot cleaner and lighter this way. You'll also be able to customize the color.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it currently works off of a system where you choose the color. In that previous screen there, the top and bottom were gray. That's actually because I haven't applied the color to that particular UI window yet, apparently. Okay. But yeah, in the actual images are actually just gray. And so you use, you'll be able to customize which color palette you want to use on your UI. It's a feature that a lot of old like RPGs had and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? It's actually really easy for us to do.
Yeah.
So why not add it? Let players customize their UI how they want it.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that should be in pretty quickly as soon as we have the settings page, which will probably come with the save and load update. But yeah. Someone mentioned that he looks like a Super Saiyan. Yep. Akira Toriyama was a big inspiration to our original artist. We've been moving a little bit away from that, but I think there will be a hairstyle like this in the final version.
Hey.
If nothing else, to play homage to the original artist.
Oh, good. Reminds me of the time I spent playing Pokemon, trying out all the different UI. Good for you guys. Okay, yeah. Different text boxes. Oh, sure. Yeah. Now I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yep. Same kind of deal here. So, yeah, and to the comment that it's better than Stardew, I hope one day it will be. I don't think it is just yet, but that's my goal. It's a really lofty goal. I'll
the loftiest of goals.
Well, no, I'd say the loftiest of goals would be better than Minecraft.
Okay, that's fair.
Seeing as Minecraft's like one of the 5 highest grossing games of all time. But yeah, Stardew, there's a chance. I'm not going to say it's a good chance, but there's a chance it could be better than Stardew.
I would say, Stardew is just, like, amazing in every aspect, and especially because it's designed by one person, too, just blows my mind. But, one thing that I can say about this that has better than Stardew is, like, the graphics, especially if we're going to consider the Kickstarter, where you show that. Actually, I want to show it again for people joining in. This looks like we have some new people. This spot, which by the way, yeah, actually I might even show this at the end again for people because there's some new people here now, but I mean, look at, like, this looks way better than Stardew, you know what I mean? Like this shot here and that, but again, like, hand painted or whatever, the whole thing, that's a whole
yeah, that's our ideal for the project. If we could do everything we want to do, that's how it would look.
Yeah.
Is just like that fishing scene for the entire game. So your farm still would be a little bit tiled, just so that you can customize it.
Right.
But we would do our best to make those tiles mesh really well with the painted look of the game overall.
I feel like that's really hard to do. You know,
It is.
it's like on one end you don't want to have no detail. Like, you know, this is, for example, this is just a flat color, which has so no detail. But then it's easier to make it mesh. Like, I don't know, it's hard to do that both, like detail and not have it look really tiled. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. The background actually will have more detail to it than you see there, but it's going to be painted on detail using a set of sprites. I don't know if you've seen Kinseed,
Yes.
but we're taking a lot of inspiration from how they did their art. They also use flat backgrounds, and then they just have a large library of little sprites, very tiny sprites of blemishes and
Yeah.
like flowers and sprigs of grass and whatnot. They just take them and they
Spam them all over the
place
place.
all over the place.
Yeah,
And
they do. There's so many little things. You're right.
yeah, and so we're going to be doing the same with this game, and really moving away from the heavy tile look that you see right now. It's already better than it was before, but part of the reason we ended up using this as many tiles as we did was actually because it was very easy, programmatically speaking, to slice them this way.
Jim Bob, what is going on? Whoa. Terribly stuffed in a spaceship. Oh my god. Toolbox if you don't stop it right now. Okay, fine, whatever. Oh, there. Is this going to be his name, Jim Bob?
Yes.
Like Jim Bob. A new colonist. You might not have been expecting him. My little girl, she follows me everywhere. It's not a thing on any planet she can't fix. Two more Earthlings on alien planet. Don't bomb it nonsense. Hopefully soon. Theoretical data on the subject, but and I've written several papers on the subject. It's enough. Okay.
The rain does look cool, by the way.
Thank you.
Shoot, I can't go see it now. Unless it's raining outside after this, but dang it. Okay, we have a bunch of copper. Let's go ahead and see what we got here. I'm gonna try to get this sprinkler going here before we wrap it up.
You know, I keep tweaking the settings on the weather to make spring have more rainy days and fewer dust storms. And it seems like no matter what I do, streamers always run into like 5 dust storms and no rainstorms. It reminds me of a Dilbert comic, where they're in hell or whatever, and they show him to a little demon sitting at a desk and say, "This is our random number generator," and the demon's just sitting there saying 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and Dilbert says, "Is that really random?" And the person showing him around says, "That's the thing about random numbers. You never really can tell."
Can I run this through between these? Like, how am I gonna get around these rocks and stuff?
Yes, you should be able to run it between them.
Okay, good.
I like Gilbert, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great comic, along with XKCD. Two great little comics for episodic fun. Yeah, there's lots of really great story-based comics, but those two definitely are great for your episodic. So still a long ways to go, but I do think the game's shaping up quite well. You're going to see a lot more terrain looking like those large rocks you see there, like that one.
Yeah, like that. That's nice.
I didn't quite understand what pipes are doing.
The pipes will go to sprinklers.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I don't know how big of an area it is, but Yeah.
Yeah, again, we will have visual indicators for that in the final version. There will also be different patterns of sprinklers you get. So cross patterns, sideways patterns, circle patterns. And you'll be able to kind of set your farm up that way, and kind of navigate around because you can't plant over the top of pipes. So
okay, yeah.
that's going to be kind of an interesting little thing for your farm.
Yeah,
figuring out the layout for that. I'm a huge fan of Factorio, and while I would never make this game anything like Factorio, there are some fun elements, small elements of it that I would bring here, such as the pipes connecting up to the sprinklers.
I'm a big fan too, by the way.
Yeah, it's one of those games where if you look at the trailer and you think, I might like that game, I can guarantee you like that game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It remains, I think, one of the top 10 highest rated games in Steam of all time, basically.
Wow. I feel like part of that is that people that'll watch the trailer, I mean, vast majority of people won't like Factorio, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But like the people, if you watch it, like you say, watch the trailer, like I'm sure a lot of people watch the trailer like, what? No. But then if you watch it and you think you're interested, 100% you're gonna be interested. But that would be why it's such a high rating, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like it weeds out the potential, like people like they won't like it, don't even bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
And it delivers in spades.
Yeah.
Now, if only I could find someone to play with Angels Bob's rabid biter mods.
Brock, did you play with any mods for Factorio, or you?
No. I mean, I never used any mods. I
he's a
don't
purist.
like mod games usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only because I kind of fully completely wore the game out in the first 300 hours I played it. So I started going into mods to make it more complicated and more challenging. So yeah, I have, I think, 800 hours total. It's my most
800. Wow.
Yeah, it's my most played game besides maybe an MMO, but MMOs.
Yeah.
I have so many games over 1,000 hours. I don't want to talk about it.
Actually, League of Legends might also be. In fact, I know it is because I haven't played the game in like 5 years, but yeah, I have 2,000 wins on my main account, which, given the algorithm, that means 4,000 games at like 40 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whatever that is, that's my college days.
Yeah, yeah, same. And then StarCraft before that, and I also played thousands of hours of Minecraft.
Yeah, same here. I'm in StarCraft and League of Legends.
Yeah.
I'm not very proud of League of Legends. By the way.
No, neither am I.
Yeah, it was fun, but yeah, I actually never played without at least one friend. Just because to me that was the fun of it.
Yeah. For sure.
Was playing with your friends
in the dorm rooms, especially, ideally, or you know what I mean. Playing in person with people was really fun for that.
It was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, got any more questions about the game?
Yeah, I think I don't think I'll even be able to finish this task because I need so many pipes. So we should probably. I mean, I could try to finish it, but
you can order more copper.
I did. I mean, I'm getting there. I did order more copper, and it already came. But I have to wait for all of these.
No, you can buy copper ingots.
What? Oh no! Oh, I didn't realize that. No, I didn't realize that. Oh shoot!
You should be able to.
Oh
Wait,
no, I can't. I can't.
I removed that. I decided I'd be mean and make people use the furnaces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. But now I'm just gonna sleep through days. Well, you can't stop me. Oh, here's some rain. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah,
There you
this is
go,
nice.
Rain.
So does your rain move with? Because you were mentioning that with our games now.
Yeah, the rain is properly offset, so it remains anchored to the terrain as you move around.
Yeah, that was the thing you were saying in Circadian City.
Yeah.
I think our rain is anchored to the screen instead of the map itself.
Yeah, which is fine. I was honestly just curious if you were planning on heading in that direction or not.
Mm-hmm.
Weather effects are really fun and cool. So we'll definitely be adding other weather effects. So there's going to be an eclipse. You saw a little bit of the aurora prototype in the trailer.
Is that the greenish hue one? Or?
Yeah. That one will have some interesting effects. It will make it so you can't use the online shop,
Mm.
and make it so you can't receive emails. So anything triggered or done by emails won't actually arrive until the next day.
Mm. Are your crops affected in any way, or?
No, your crops are just fine.
Okay.
It's mostly your supporting stuff that is affected by it. It'll also be a lot prettier in the end. I plan on really spending a lot of time on that particular weather effect. I don't know if you know this, but our studio name, we don't mention it much because we're mostly focused on the One Lonely Outpost brand.
Yep.
But the studio name is Aurorian Studios. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I seen it on Kickstarter.
Yep. So. Yeah, there's also a really cool cloud effect that the same guy who did the rain and the other effects has done, but it was having some screen anchoring issues, kind of like the rain was in yours. And while the rain effect works pretty well for yours, since it's kind of like a white noise effect, it spans the whole screen. The clouds really did not look right when not anchored to the screen, so
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's actually still pending, but once we get them in, they'll look really cool as well. It's just amazing how much those like weather effects can make a game feel so much more immersive and interesting.
Oh wow, something's happening.
More stuff.
Yep.
Just trips. Helper. It was a test to see what you do. Nice, psychologically speaking. Okay, so she would only come when there's other people in the.
Yep.
Yeah. So, is this song only for her, or is this like?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That is her theme. Each, at least every romanceable character will have their own theme. We hope that each character will have their own theme.
Mm.
We really plan on doing a lot with the characters. All right, now if you want to see the sprinkler running, you'll notice it already watered the crops just as a failsafe. But if you go ahead and sleep and then come out early in the morning, you'll see them watering just like Stardew.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. All that work.
Ah, it's not working.
Of course.
Found a bug.
Didn't trigger.
Found a bug.
Okay.
Wouldn't be a dev
But-
stream without a bug.
But
What about the NPCs, by the way? How many characters you envision for the game?
so ideally over 20 NPCs, all with their own cutscenes and everything.
Yeah.
But we'll see how development goes. We don't want to choose quantity over quality, so we want to make sure we can do due diligence by the characters that we do end up having in the game. So it's going to be dependent on funding, but ideally 20 to 30 characters. They'll all have some kind of community role that they play to add to the community as a whole. They won't just be prop characters or
What about
whatnot.
someone who like purposely doesn't add to the community? They're just kind of a. Well, I guess there was that one guy you were saying that or the government dude.
Oh yes, the idiot bureaucrat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won't add to the community. He will add to the community by being an incentive for you to get rid of him.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots still to do on the game, but if we can just make this Kickstarter goal, then it'll give us a real kickstart, as it were. And we'll be able to make this thing come to fruition. It's a high goal. I know it's a high goal, but that's because that's what it will cost to guarantee that this game will be done, and it will be done well.
But you're halfway through your goal.
We are. So we're going to get close. I'm just crossing my fingers, hoping that we do a little bit better in the second half that we're quickly approaching.
Let me remind you one thing we did in our Kickstarter, and it worked well, I guess. When we were halfway through it, and our goal was 80,000, by the way, for Monochroma. And when we hit the 40,000 hit mark, we we theorized if everybody would double their pledge, we would hit our goal like the next day. And like almost 30% of people did so.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How much were you originally asking per backer? Do you remember?
We were asking for 15, I guess, yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, ours is 25. So, and we have actually 2 $5,000 backers, I think, or 2 or 3. So I don't really think that they will be doubling their pledge. But I am definitely going to step up some things. Do you like the title there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Love him or hate him, can't deny that he's kind of been revolutionizing things.
I like him. I like the fact that things are changing. It makes for an exciting future, so I'm about it. But
yeah. That's what I like. I just like that, I've complained about the car industry for like 10 years, and now he's finally changing it.
Yeah.
I've complained, I've been sad that we haven't been going back to space for 20 years.
Yeah,
And
same.
now we're finally really going back to space.
Oh. I just saw the number go up, sorry. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, that excites me because it's frustrating. It's like, what have we been doing? I mean, NASA still does stuff, but anyway. Here's the Kickstarter. I'll go ahead and post it. I'm gonna post it on all of the platforms, and do that.
Yeah, and to anybody watching, I am on the dev server, the public server for the game, the Discord server, as well as Twitter and whatnot. And I do answer all questions. Sometimes it'll take me a day or two, but I will answer your question if you ask me a question. So either me or somebody else who knows as well. Usually I end up answering it because as the project lead, I have all the answers. But yeah, someone will answer your question. So
I have to log back in so I can send this message. There we go. All right, there is the message, and I'll also put up a wish list for Circadian. Do appreciate wish lists for anyone that can. Definitely post that. as well. Do you guys have? Do you have a Steam page yet? I assume not, or maybe you do.
We do not have a Steam page yet.
Yeah, we were talking about it. Yeah, just
Yeah, so our initial idea is that we are going to really press for independent sales and sales through other vendors, simply because we really need all of the money we can possibly get during the early access period to help fund development. And Steam takes such a large cut that is not really best for us. But more than just that, we're also looking for people who are interested in seeing the game during its early access period when it's not a full experience. Like we were talking about, these kind of games really have to kind of come together to be a good experience. And for a lot of people during early access, it's not going to be coming together quite yet. So I really only want the people who are super fans of the game during that earliest access portion. And to kind of focus on that. But obviously, as long as we get enough money to fund the development, it will come to Steam eventually. That's not really a choice that we have as developers right now. Maybe one day it will be, but right now it's not.
Yeah. All right.
So, thank you very much.
I really appreciate your vision, Red, and thanks for coming here.
Sure, anytime.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I already backed One Lonely Outpost, and I see that it's reaching its goal slowly. I hope we'll be able to play the full game soon.
Yep. If it passes, 8 months until what I call earlier access is up, and 12 months until public early access is available. You'll notice there that the Space Farm Pioneer gets access to the game in 8 months as opposed to 12. All of the delivery dates are the same because everyone kept being very confused by the different dates and whatnot.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But yeah, early access is in 12 months if this Kickstarter is successful, and full release another 12 months after that. So
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks again. And yeah, I can definitely see you're a fan.
Yeah, I keep up to date on that. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. That was a really fun stream, and definitely be in touch and good luck on your Kickstarter.
Thank you. Yeah, keep in touch. Let me know if you ever want to do something like this again.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I'd love to later down the line.
I mean, when our games evolve, we can maybe repeat that once again in maybe 6 months later.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
Yeah, Circadian will be a long ways, and hopefully your game as well. 6 months time. So.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay
then.
Great
See you around.
See you around.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. That wraps up today's stream, and we will be back on next weekend, I believe, at the same time, hopefully, with another streamer or developer. We will see. Thank you all for watching. See you guys later.